to the Sugar Bowl in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. The Alabama Crimson Tide are a 6.5-point favorite over the Kansas State Wildcats. 56 points is the current over-under in this game. Alabama is bringing back Will Anderson playing in this game, Bryce Young playing in this game, and that's about it. It seems like almost like, I would say, is it the whole offensive line for Alabama is entered into the transfer portal? I think that's what I was looking at. I was like, how many of these guys are entering into the transfer portal? You see all of these guys kind of going away from Alabama. There's a lot of Alabama players entering into transfer portal. A lot of K-State players are playing in this game. The one that shocked me the most, though, was Deuce Vaughn. Like, I'm a little shocked Deuce Vaughn's going to play in this game. I really do like, though. I think Kansas State's here to stay here, Fresh. And I know that they're the underdog, and I don't see Alabama losing this game. I really don't. Like, you're telling me Alabama's going to go 10-3 in a year? Like, I don't believe it. I just can't see it happening. And Kansas State is already a 10-win football team. So I think Alabama's going to try a little bit harder in this game. But don't get me wrong, Kansas State could mess around and knock them off. But I think that going into next season, Kansas State may be my favorite to win the Big 12 next year, just because they're returning Will Howard. I really like that they're coming back with him. They are going to lose Deuce Vaughn there, but DJ Gittens, the backup running back there, he had some moments where he's looked pretty good at times. He's only a freshman, 6'1", 212 running back there. Had 6 touchdowns on the year, averaged over 5 yards a carry. I like him. I think that there's something there with him. I wish he was a better receiver out of the backfield, but again, he's only a freshman, and we'll see where he develops going into next season. I think there's a lot to like about this Kansas State team. I think that they have a really good foundation that they can build upon for this year. I don't know if that foundation is good enough to beat the Crimson Tide, especially in a place like the Superdome, where Alabama usually plays pretty damn good at. So it's going to be nice to see what Bryce Young's final game under the Crimson Tide is. But I think Alabama's in this weird transition, but we'll see where they come from here. Like, Alabama is always going to be around. They're as long as Nick Saban's the head coach there, I'm not going to doubt Alabama that they're going to figure something out for next year. Is this a one-year aberration? And next year, they're going to still be in the college football playoff. They're still going to, come back and be a very difficult team to beat. I think that they are keeping a lot of receipts from this year and will be cashing those receipts, especially that team in Knoxville. I'm a little bit nervous when you go down to Tuscaloosa next year. I'll make my pick right now. I'm going to take the Tide in that game, and that game's about 10 months away. But, Fresh, give me what you're looking at here with the Crimson Tide and the Kansas State Wildcats. You see any way Kansas State wins this game?
Well, I think early on, when there's uncertainty around Bryce Young and Will Anderson, I thought they had a chance. When they both came back, all I saw was angry Bama. This team, if you're they're both going to be top 5 picks. I mean, Bryce Young, most likely going to become a Houston Texan, number 1 overall pick if that falls through. They have no reason to play in this football game other than they're angry that they finished the way they finished. And if your 2 stud players are going to show up and play in this football game, everyone who's in that building who's not transferred out is going to be held to a standard. And with transfer portal, and as of ESPN's 300 today, I think they had 12 of the top 30 kids signed. That's ESPN, not anyone else's, but when you have 12 of the top 30 signed, that's not bad. There's players coming back to Tuscaloosa next year in the future. So this is you have a chance to earn your roster spot. Your 2 veteran leaders, one on each side of the ball, are playing. Step up. We're going to go get this done. We're actually going to try to prove that we are, in their minds, one of the top 4 best teams in the country, and they should have been a playoff team. Kansas State played probably their best game of the year, and they still let TCU take them to overtime. I don't know if they can be able to do that. If Kansas State can make this a 4-quarter football game, Coach Kleiman and that entire Wildcat program, you guys are in set for big, big things, and you have earned the respect forever. And actually, maybe people won't be thinking, "Oh, this is an old school Brian, Coach Snyder football team like 20 years ago." You guys are actually relevant again. Like this will be a transition moment for K State. But I think just Alabama being angry, this will be a moment. The only thing that can stop Alabama from winning this football game big is Bill O'Brien up in the press box calling plays. And if you're an Alabama fan, you probably agree with me that he's the only reason Alabama is where they are right now. And that the only thing that holds them back from beating Kansas State handily. Now, sidebar, if you're going to New Orleans for New Year's, Bourbon Street, it's actually really, really cold. My only time there, we went there for the Georgia-Hawaii Sugar Bowl. You actually pay $10 covers to go in and drink a junky beer for 5 minutes to get warm because it is so cold in that narrow little street where all the wind whips down. But Bourbon Street at night is a lot of fun. During the day, it looks like a bombed out city. But during at night, it's a lot of fun. But be safe, have a good time. A lot of cold there on New Year's Eve, but pretty cool in Bourbon Street in New Orleans for New Year's.
Yeah, that is up there with on the list of do someday, sometime. So Fresh, I just don't see it. I like Kansas State, like I led off with. I like Kansas State a lot. I like Kansas State going into next season. If we were doing a top 25 as of this moment right now, I would have Kansas State in my top 10, and that's without them.
Yeah.
Who else do they pick up? Just because I really like Will Howard coming back next year for them. I think he's going to be a very nice quarterback. I don't know if he's going to be a top 5 quarterback in the country, but I would definitely be willing to say he might be top 10. I think it's not a stretch.
Not a stretch at all. And we talk about watchability, like players who are playing and making the game intriguing to watch. There's bowl games we're going to be talking about here going forward that probably don't have the same watchability as the Sugar Bowl. Like this game, you actually want to tune in because guys are wanting to play in the football game.
Yeah. I'll be interested to see how this game goes down. So, all right, Fresh. Let's go